the spring of 2000, a 34-year-old software engineer named Daniel invested $40,000 into technology stocks. Not because he was reckless, because everyone around him was making money. His colleague had doubled his portfolio in 8 months. His brother-in-law had quit his job to trade full-time. The Nasdaq had returned 86% the previous year. The news called it a new economy. His financial magazine called certain tech companies must-own investments for the decade ahead. Daniel did his research. He bought reputable companies. He felt confident. By 2002, his $40,000 was worth $11,000. He sold everything. He didn't invest again for 9 years. The money he didn't invest between 2002 and 2011. The money that sat in a savings account earning nothing while the S&P 500 recovered and compounded, cost him more than the crash itself. Daniel didn't make one mistake. He made several, and every single one of them is on a list that Warren Buffett has been publicly maintaining for over 70 years. My name is Nick, and I want to talk about the most valuable document in personal finance that almost nobody reads. Not because it's hidden, because it's boring. Warren Buffett's annual shareholder letters, 70 years of them, freely available on Berkshire Hathaway's website, contain the most comprehensive, most field-tested, most honestly documented catalog of investing mistakes ever compiled by a single human being. Buffett didn't write them as a mistake catalog. He wrote them as honest accounting to his partners. But reading them across 7 decades reveals something remarkable. The same mistakes, made by the same psychological mechanisms, destroying returns for investors at every level of sophistication, over and over again, in every market cycle. There are 12 of them, and by the end of this video you'll have the complete framework, not to pick better stocks, but to stop making the decisions that guarantee worse outcomes regardless of which stocks you pick. Let's start with the one that cost Daniel $200,000 and feels the most like wisdom when you're making it. Mistake 1. Buying what's popular instead of what's valuable. Buffett's most foundational principle, stated so many times across so many letters that it has become almost cliché, is that price and value are not the same thing. A great company at the wrong price is a bad investment. A mediocre company at a sufficiently low price can be a great investment. Daniel bought great companies. At the peak of the greatest valuation bubble in market history, he confused the quality of the businesses with the quality of the investment. And in 2000, those two things were pointing in exactly opposite directions. The mechanism Buffett identifies is what he calls the institutional imperative, the gravitational pull toward doing what everyone else is doing, because it feels safer and smarter than standing apart. When technology stocks are returning 86% a year and your neighbor is getting rich and financial magazines are calling it a new paradigm, buying technology stocks feels like the obvious, rational decision. Not buying them feels like the risk. Buffett has called this mistake paying the wrong price for a good business, the single most reliable way to destroy long-term returns, regardless of the quality of your underlying analysis. Mistake 2. Selling when the market drops. In 2002, Daniel sold everything at the bottom. He locked in his losses and missed the recovery. This is the second most common and second most expensive mistake Buffett has documented, treating temporary price declines as permanent losses. Buffett's distinction here is precise and important. A stock price falling is not a loss unless you sell. The intrinsic value of a well-chosen business does not change because its stock price drops. The market is not a measuring instrument for business value in the short term. It is, as Buffett's mentor, Benjamin Graham, described it, a voting machine in the short run and a weighing machine in the long run. In the short run, the market votes on popularity. In the long run, it weighs actual business value. When you sell during a market decline, you are letting the voting machine make your decisions for you. You are converting a temporary price decline into a permanent loss and then removing yourself from the recovery that historically follows every decline in market history. Buffett's documented position. He has never sold a great business because its stock price fell. The price falling is not new information about the business. It is new information about other people's emotions. And other people's emotions are not a sound basis for long-term investment decisions. Mistake 3. Diversifying too much. This one surprises people because diversification is almost universally presented as the safe, responsible approach to investing. Buffett has a word for excessive diversification. He calls it diversification. His argument is specific. Diversification protects against ignorance. If you don't know which businesses are genuinely excellent, spreading your money across many businesses reduces the risk that any single bad one destroys you. But if you actually understand a small number of businesses deeply, their competitive advantages, their management quality, their long-term economics, excessive diversification dilutes your best ideas with your mediocre ones. Berkshire Hathaway's portfolio has never held hundreds of positions. Buffett has consistently concentrated his best capital in his highest conviction investments and been willing to put meaningful money behind his best ideas rather than spreading it thin to feel safe. The practical implication for most investors: if you own 30 individual stocks, you probably don't understand 30 businesses well enough to have genuine conviction in all of them. You own 30 positions because it feels safer. Buffett would argue you own 30 positions because you don't know which ones are actually the best. And that is an argument for buying a simple index fund rather than for pretending you have 30 high conviction ideas. Mistake 4. Overtrading. Buffett has said that his favorite holding period is forever. He has also said that the stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. And he has been remarkably consistent across 7 decades in identifying excessive trading, buying and selling frequently based on short-term information, as one of the most reliable ways to underperform the simple strategy of doing almost nothing. The mechanism is several layered. First, every trade generates transaction costs and potentially tax consequences that compound against your returns over time. Second, frequent trading requires you to be right twice. Right about when to sell and right about when to buy back in. And the evidence consistently shows that even professional investors fail at this task more often than they succeed. Third, and most importantly, frequent trading is driven by the feeling that action is the same as progress, that doing something is better than doing nothing. Buffett has described sitting quietly in excellent businesses as one of the hardest things in investing because it looks and feels like passivity. It is not. It is the active, deliberate choice to let compounding work without interruption. And uninterrupted compounding is the most powerful force in wealth building. Mistake 5. Ignoring what you don't understand. Buffett has a concept he calls the circle of competence, the specific domain of businesses, industries, and economics that an investor genuinely understands well enough to evaluate. His discipline around staying inside his circle of competence is one of the most distinctive and most consistently documented features of his investment approach. He famously avoided technology stocks for most of his career, not because he thought they were bad businesses, but because he didn't feel he could reliably predict their competitive positions and economics 10 years into the future. He was widely criticized for this during the tech boom of the late 1990s. By 2002, the criticism had largely evaporated. The practical mistake most investors make is not ignoring what they don't understand. It's not knowing what they don't understand. They buy a stock because of a headline, a tip, a compelling story, or a number on a screen, without being able to answer Buffett's foundational question: what will this business look like in 10 years and why? If you can't answer that question with genuine conviction, you are outside your circle of competence regardless of how much research you've done. Mistake 6. Watching the market too closely. This is the mistake Buffett has called one of the most expensive habits an investor can develop, and it is the one that feels most like diligence when you're doing it. The research on this is both counterintuitive and robust. Investors who check their portfolio daily make worse decisions than investors who check it monthly. Investors who check monthly make worse decisions than investors who check quarterly. The more frequently you observe short-term price fluctuations, the more likely you are to perceive patterns that don't exist, feel urgency that isn't justified, and make decisions that would embarrass you if you evaluated them 6 months later. Buffett's documented practice: he does not watch stock prices during the day. He reads annual reports and business news. He does not use a computer to trade. He has described the ideal investor as someone who would be perfectly happy if the stock market closed for 5 years and they couldn't see their portfolio value at all, because they own businesses, not ticker symbols, and businesses don't need a daily price to justify their existence. Mistake 7. Letting taxes drive investment decisions. Buffett has written extensively about the tax tail wagging the investment dog, the pattern of investors holding mediocre investments they should sell because they don't want to pay capital gains tax, or selling excellent investments they should hold because of arbitrary tax year timing. His position is characteristically simple: taxes are a cost of investing. They should be minimized intelligently through legitimate means: long-term holding, tax-advantaged accounts, strategic timing. But they should never be the primary driver of investment decisions. A business that has become genuinely overvalued should be sold even if the tax bill is large. A business that remains genuinely excellent should be held even if selling and buying back later would trigger tax timing advantages. The practical mistake: investors often hold underperforming positions for years specifically to avoid crystallizing a taxable gain, watching the underlying business deteriorate while they wait for a more tax-efficient moment to act. The tax they avoided was often smaller than the additional loss they absorbed. Mistake 8. Borrowing to invest. Buffett has called leverage in investing the single most dangerous variable available to an otherwise sound investor. His position across decades has been unwavering. Borrowed money magnifies both gains and losses, removes the investor's ability to think clearly under pressure, and introduces the possibility of permanent capital loss, even from investments that would eventually recover. The specific danger Buffett identifies is not that borrowing always leads to disaster. Sometimes leveraged investments work spectacularly well and the investor credits their judgment. The danger is that borrowing introduces a forced selling mechanism, a margin call, a loan due date, a cash need, that can force you to sell at exactly the wrong moment, turning a temporary decline into a permanent loss. Smart people with borrowed money have gone bankrupt on investments that would have made them wealthy if they'd bought with their own capital and held through the volatility. Buffett's rule: if you wouldn't be comfortable holding an investment with your own money through a 50% decline, you have no business holding it with borrowed money. Mistake 9. Confusing a good company with a good investment. Buffett has spent decades making this distinction, and it remains one of the most frequently violated principles in investing. A great business and a great investment are not the same thing. They can coincide, they often don't. Apple is a genuinely extraordinary business. At certain points in its history, its stock has been priced to reflect that extraordinariness, and at those prices, it was a mediocre investment, regardless of how excellent the business was. At other points, its stock has been priced significantly below what the business was worth. The business didn't change between those two moments. The price did. And price is the variable that determines investment returns, not business quality alone. The mistake investors consistently make: they identify genuinely excellent businesses, and at those prices, it was an excellent investment, and buy them at any price because the quality of the business justifies the investment. Buffett's documented position is that no business quality justifies any price. Price always matters. The margin of safety, the gap between what something costs and what it's actually worth, is the most important concept in investing and the one most frequently ignored during periods of market optimism. Mistake 10. Making predictions about the market. Buffett has been asked about the market's direction in virtually every interview he has given for 50 years. His answer has been the same every time: he doesn't know, and neither does anyone else. This is not false modesty. Buffett has documented extensively why short-term market prediction is not a skill that exists in any reliable, replicable form. The variables that determine short-term market movements, sentiment, geopolitics, interest rates, investor psychology, are too numerous and too interdependent to be reliably forecast. And yet investors at every level of sophistication make investment decisions based on market predictions constantly. They hold cash, waiting for a better entry point. They reduce positions because they expect the market to fall. They concentrate in sectors they believe will outperform based on macro forecasts. All of these behaviors require the investor to be right about something that nobody has ever demonstrated the ability to predict reliably. Buffett's documented approach: he ignores short-term market direction entirely and focuses exclusively on the long-term economics of individual businesses. The market's short-term behavior is noise. The business's long-term value creation is signal. Confusing the two is one of the most expensive errors an investor can make. Mistake 11. Panic selling. This is Daniel's mistake in its purest form, and Buffett has documented it as the single most reliable mechanism for converting market volatility, which is temporary and normal, into permanent wealth destruction. The mathematics of panic selling are devastating. If you own an investment that declines 50% and you sell, you need a 100% gain just to break even. If you hold through the decline and the investment recovers to its original value, you need a 100% gain, and you get it automatically as the recovery happens. The investor who sold needs to time the market perfectly twice, once to sell near the bottom and once to buy back near the start of the recovery. Almost nobody does this successfully. Buffett's documented response to market crashes: he views them as buying opportunities, not selling signals. He has bought major positions during every significant market decline of his career: 1973, 1987, 2002, 2008, 2020, specifically because declining prices mean the businesses he wants to own are available at better prices. Fear in the market is not a warning to him. It is an invitation. Mistake 12. Waiting for the perfect moment. The last mistake is the mirror image of panic selling. It is the investor who watched the 2008 crash, decided correctly that it was a buying opportunity, and then waited for prices to fall further before buying. Prices recovered. They waited for the next dip. The next dip never came to where they were comfortable. They waded through one of the greatest bull markets in history. Buffett's position on market timing, waiting for the perfect entry point, is that it is the most expensive form of perfectionism available to an investor. The cost of waiting for perfect is almost always higher than the cost of imperfect timing on an excellent long-term investment. A great business bought at a fair price and held for 20 years will almost always outperform a great business bought at a perfect price and held for 15 years because the investor waited 5 years for the perfect moment. Time in the market almost always beats timing the market, and the investor who waits for perfect conditions is almost always waiting for conditions that never arrive. Quick note, because I get asked about this constantly. Finding the Buffett letters, extracting the patterns, and turning 70 years of dense financial writing into a 20-minute video that people actually watch is a skill. It's exactly what we teach in our community for people building faceless finance channels. The link is in the description if that's been on your mind. No pressure. Now back to the most important thing this list reveals. Here's the principle that ties all 12 mistakes together, and it's the thing Buffett has been saying in one form or another for 7 decades. Investing is not primarily an intellectual activity. It is primarily a temperamental one. Every single mistake on this list, from buying what's popular to panic selling, to waiting for the perfect moment, is driven not by a failure of analysis, but by a failure of temperament, by fear, by greed, by the desire for social validation, by the discomfort of inaction, by the overestimation of one's own ability to predict the unpredictable. The investor with average intelligence and excellent temperament will outperform the investor with superior intelligence and average temperament over virtually any meaningful time horizon. Buffett has stated this consistently and specifically enough that it should be taken as a documented empirical claim rather than a motivational sentiment. Daniel recovered. It took him until 2020 to fully rebuild what he had in 2000. 20 years. Not because markets were unkind to him, but because he made several of these 12 mistakes in sequence, compounding each other's damage. He now owns 3 index funds. He checks his portfolio quarterly. He has stopped predicting the market. He has stopped selling when prices fall. He is, by Buffett's definition, finally investing. The list doesn't require you to be Warren Buffett. It requires you to avoid the mistakes that Warren Buffett has spent 70 years watching, destroy the returns of people who were trying to do the same thing he was doing, trying to build wealth through investing, but letting their temperament undermine their analysis at every critical moment. That's the whole framework. 12 mistakes, 1 cause, 1 fix. I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing in this video is financial advice. It's just the catalog I wish Daniel had read in the spring of 2000, before the magazine told him which tech stocks were must-owns for the decade. If this gave you something useful, drop a comment telling me which of the 12 mistakes you've made, or almost made. I read every single one. And if you want to understand the specific investment principles Buffett uses to avoid making these mistakes himself, the actual framework for how he identifies great investments, that video is right there on the screen. Go watch that one next. I'll see you in it.